So let me welcome everybody to this preview session one. We have four sessions tonight, then Monday, the 29th of March, then April 4th and April 11th. And at each one, we will have actual live instructors and performers from Fiddle Hell who will play you a tune and talk about their sessions and maybe say a couple words about Fiddle Hell. We're doing this so you can meet them and see what they sound like and go to their sessions, go to their concerts, take lessons from them, support them on Patreon, buy their books, buy their CDs, and all these good things. So, welcome. We're also going to record this and we'll post it back on Facebook. We'll post it on our YouTube channel, which is called Fiddle Hell. And we'll actually put it in Whova so that people will be able to replay these at any point in the next 3 months. So, we have, I think, 7 people. 6 are here already, and one more will hopefully be on the way. And we're going to start with Andrea Hoag, who is a fiddler of the Swedish persuasion, and I will turn it over to you.
Well, thanks, Dave. It's nice to meet you in person on Zoom, and I'm very excited to be part of Fiddle Hell. I've been hearing about it for a while, so this will be my first one. I'm just going to check tuning real quick because I have a newish A string. Important part of any workshop, tuning. So I'm going to start out with my level 2 workshop today, because in that one I'm going to do the kind of tunes that might be more familiar to most fiddlers, and that is a waltz and a schottische, with a focus on how to make it danceable for Scandinavian dancers. So this is I'm going just across the border into Norway, the town of Røros, to do a waltz called Smedjen's Waltz. So just a taste of waltz there.
Nice.
My other workshops are going to be all about the polska, and polska is the dance form that's found all around Sweden, goes back to the 1500s, few versions, more from the 1600s forward, but it's different ways to count to 3. So waltz is pretty familiar. Polska, I'm going to do for you the tune that I'll teach in my level 1 workshop. And this is a sling polska that has a strong emphasis on 1. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. A friend of mine said it's like horses loping over some low green hills. So sort of a Swedish cowboy style. No, not really. This is called Granas Grita. Just a taste of sling polska. In my level 3 workshop, I'm going to be comparing 2 styles of polska from the province of Dalarna, Buda polska and Rättviks polska. And because of time limits, I don't think I will do both for you, but I'm going to play a little bit of a Buddha polska. And I think that I will play Würde Spisen, which is in the Buddha dialect, means the wood stove. So if you could feel where that was counting in 3, you are already ahead of the game. Sometimes people think it's in 7 or 11, but what we're listening for is the big beats that you dance on. And having survived that, I'm going to go to my level 4 style, which is a polska from Ursha. I haven't decided which one in particular I'll teach, but the Ursha rhythm, I'm sorry, I'm in my flip-flops here, but I'm going to try and stamp loudly so you can hear 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. That's the basic beat, but there's a lot of shimmying around in the rhythm and some blue notes and a lot of fun to play. And I'll just mention quickly, I'm going to be doing a concert with a trio that I play with called Mitten, which is Swedish for in the middle, but it's spelled like mitten, which is a sort of an ironic name for a group based in Arizona, but it suits us. And after the concert, we'll be doing a jam, which it will go from easy tunes to more complex tunes. And of course, people can bring suggestions and requests to the jam. So I hope to see you at a Swedish session. Thanks.
Excellent. And everybody knows how to do Zoom applause. Nice playing. Those are going to be good sessions. We have Vidar Skreda also teaching Norwegian. Lenia Jansson is going to get up at 4 a.m. in Sweden and call in one workshop on Saturday night. So there's going to be some good Scandinavian playing. Cellos. Fiddle Hell. It's always the year of the cello. My daughter-in-law, Joy Adams, is a cellist, and McKinley's taught at a bunch of Fiddle Hells, and I will turn it over to you, McKinley.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm super excited about the cello lineup this time. It looks, like usual, absolutely incredible. So I am teaching a couple workshops. I'm teaching one workshop on just general cello, cello-ness, how to sound really good on cello, playing melody on cello. So I'll probably be teaching a melody and then talking about specific things we can do as cellists to really bring out the wonderful qualities of our instrument. And then I'm teaching another workshop on accompanying Irish reels on cello, and then I'm also doing a concert. So I guess I'll play a couple tunes. Here's a couple jigs. First one I wrote called Brattleboro Zombies into Another Jig, and yeah, here we go. Ambitious today, and I decided to wear a dress, and I'm now really regretting it. My hands are freezing off. It's 55 degrees, and I was like, today is the second day of spring. I deserve to wear something lighter, and then, of course, now my hands feel like icicles. I'm gonna play another tune. This is one, depending, I might be playing this in the concert. It's one of my favorite tunes. It's a more modern Swedish tune called I'm Not Fed Up with the Pacific Ocean. of Fiddle Hell, and I was feeling really nostalgic today, thinking about all the Fiddle Hells that have been in person, and I really love this online setting. It's incredible that we can still manage to capture some of the essence and joy of Fiddle Hell, but there's nothing like the 10 p.m. pickup from Market Basket trying to get dinner, and then hanging out and eating, and then going in and listening to all the concerts, going to all the workshops, playing tunes until 3 a.m. I'm really going to miss that, and I can't wait until we can have Fiddle Hell in person, but as it is, you should sign up to come to the online version of it. Okay.
Cool. Excellent. Nice playing. And by the way, in addition to McKinley, we have Natalie Haas on cello, Jordan Hamilton, hip-hop cello, Joy Adams, and Mike Block. So there's something for all the cellists to come and see. Let's move forward. If you just joined us, you're hearing from some of the Fiddle Hell instructors, and we want you to sign up for Fiddle Hell Online coming up in about 3.5 weeks. So Tony Thomas has been at Fiddle Hell. Let's see, you were there for the first time back in November, and we're happy to have you back. He's a banjo player and a banjo historian. Tony, I will turn it over to you.
I'm more of a historian than a player, as you'll hear. Well, that was My Money Never Gives Out, which is a tune that Gus Cannon, an African-American banjo player, lived most of his life in Mississippi and in Memphis, Tennessee. Recorded actually twice, once in 1927 for the Paramount Record Company, and again in November 1930 for Victor. And I'm giving 2 classes or presentations on Gus Cannon that I've spent about 10, 15 years now doing research about, not so much about how to play the banjo the way he did, although we'll get into that. And you don't have to play the banjo to be part of these classes, but about it was more significant to me to what he represented. I started thinking this was just the ultra folk black banjoist, and I discovered that really he led me to being the survivor of an international kind of musical exchange that was going on in the 5-string banjo in the late 19th century, the early 20th century, where there were famous African-American banjo players who were known in Sydney, Australia, and Wellington, New Zealand, and Paris, France, and London, as well as in major entertainment. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. This will probably be the only banjo workshop you will ever go to, the first one where the names Jean Cocteau and Igor Stravinsky will be mentioned. But I'm giving 2 classes. The first class is Gus Cannon and the big banjo whirl of 120 years ago on April 17th at 2:30. And we're going to talk about the real exchange of the banjo. Cannon was really a survivor from the world of banjo playing that existed in the 1890s and the early 1910s, even though he wasn't recorded until the middle or late 1920s, and what that led me to. And then I'm giving another class on April 18th at 1 to 2, Gus Cannon, the 5-string banjo, black music in the era of the blues, which is going to talk about some of his recordings and some of the issues really that came up for him and his band as reflected in those recordings, and some of the issues about how the banjo, 5-string banjo, fit in or did not fit in to African American music in that era. And there'll be a little bit more demonstration in that. I want to tell people to really take advantage of Fiddle Hell. It's especially the handouts. I have a handout that's available if you register that has information where you can read things, find things on the internet that will help inform you about this. Several of the recordings that I'm going to, links to where you can hear on YouTube or other places, several of the recordings I'm going to discuss, and a special email that you can write me and ask me different issues you might want me to take up or not take up during the class, and it's all going to be there. And I'm very excited to talk about this. I haven't I gave a class about this in England and in Stockholm, as a matter of fact, about 10 years ago in presentations on canon at the Banjo Collectors Gathering. But I've learned so much in the last 10, 15 years. And this is, again, on perspectives of where the music came from, where it was going, not simply on his life or musical technique, although we will find, I'll give you some directions you can go if you want to learn how to play like canon. He started when he was 8 years old, so that may be a little late for some of us. But I'm very happy with Fiddle Hell as a banjo player. I feel sometimes like I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight, but it's an exciting thing about it is that these videos of the classes are available for 3 months. And so you can go to several things that are at the same time, and you can go back and study them. And we have these handouts, and it's really what you really can help a person learn about these things and get in contact with a much wider world of musicians and people thinking about music. And it's a real privilege to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. That's great. And that's not the only history session. We have quite a few of them taught, a couple of them by Reverend Robert Jones, who's also new to Fiddle Hell. We're looking forward to those. And from a banjo perspective, now there's a lot for banjo players. We've got Kathy Fink for the first time, Brad Kolodner, who's going to be there with Dad Ken Kolodner, Riley Bogus, who did the singing in the movie Cold Mountain, Tom Collins. So quite a lot for banjo, to say nothing of all the jams and concerts and so on. So let's move to Cape Breton, and we're going to put up Wendy MacIsaac, who's joining us for the first time, and I will turn it over to you, Wendy.
Yeah, hi everybody. This is my first time at Fiddle Hell. I've certainly heard about Fiddle Hell for quite a few years. How many years has it been going, actually?
17.
17. Right on. So happy to be here and be part of it, and hopefully someday I can actually come when we're all going to be together again. Get the real experience instead of teaching from my office here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. But that's all good. We're lucky to be able to do this. So should I just play a tune first? Just go for it. There's a pipe tune that was written by the great Dave MacIsaac here in Halifax. He's written quite a few good tunes over the years, and this is one I just recorded with the band I play in called Beolach, and it's called Miss Erin McGuinness. It's spelled in Gaelic, so it's Eireann McGuinness. It's a pipe reel, so I'll try that for you. that's a kind of a fun pipe tune, and I'm gonna be teaching that one actually on the very first class that I do, which is on April 15th, the Thursday, from 11 till 12. So that one is called A Fine Cape Breton Tune, and I think that's a fine Cape Breton tune. Dave MacIsaac lives, I think he grew up here in Halifax, but his parents were both from Cape Breton, and he's got like, he's basically rooted in Cape Breton if anybody is. 5 to 6 on the same day, I'm going to be teaching Intro to Cape Breton Fiddle, and I picked a tune called The Sow's Tail Strathspey, which is a really commonly played tune here in Cape Breton. It's a great step dance tune, so if you wanted to play for a dancer, it's a good lively one. It's in the key of D on April 16th, which is the Friday. The class is called Learn a Simple Cape Breton Tune. So I picked the Idle Road Jig, and I think this is one of the very first tunes I ever recorded back in 1994 on my album called The Real Thing, which there haven't been copies of in probably almost as long as it's been out. And I'll just give you a little sample of that one. The key of G. Hopefully that's the Idle Road Jig. Sometimes I get that one mixed up with Boys of the Town. I've recorded both of those back to back. I have my schedule here. It's been posted up on my bulletin board, so I'd be prepared. What else do I have? On the Saturday, I'm teaching from 12:30. Oh, sorry, these are my times. These are the Atlantic Standard Times, so don't listen to what I'm saying for times. Look at the schedule. So from 11:30 till 1:30 your time, I'm teaching a March Strathspey set. So putting sort of we call them MSRs. Putting those together. So I picked a couple of tunes. Hopefully we can get through all of these in an hour. It's pretty ambitious. Kitchener's Army. I taught a few of these before, Joan. I think maybe the last time we saw each other. Kitchener's Army March and McNamara Strathspey. And then I picked a Kinnan Beaton tune called the JCHS. That's Judith Craignish High School. That's the school I went to. Grads of 1991. So that would have been the year that Glenn Graham, if you know the fiddle playing of Glenn Graham, that was the year that he graduated. So we're going to do that reel. And then I think that's it. I'll be doing the concert on Saturday night, and then on Sunday I'll be doing a jam session from 11:30 till 1:30, 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So it's sort of like just a bunch of Cape Breton tunes that might be sort of more common. And then, yeah, the concert that night with Katie McNally. That's my schedule. Pretty good schedule. And, yeah, that's about it. I'm really looking forward to this. I don't have much to add except for hearing lots of great things about Fiddle Hell over the years. I know Andrea and Troy have been there, and Katie, and I've heard lots of great stuff from those guys. So I'm looking forward to it.
Great. We're really happy to have you there for the first time, and
Yeah.
it's online, so you don't have that long drive.
I don't have a long drive. Well, sometimes I like to get away, and get a little shopping in. And
Sure. And you mentioned Katie. Well, Katie McNally will also be there with Neil Perlman, Jenna Moynihan, Hanukkah Castle, Jeremy Kittle. Speaking of Canada, April Virch, although not really Cape Breton or Scottish. So a bunch of good people. Huva, by the way, will show you the schedule in your local time zone. There's a setting on Huva so you can see things in your time zone. So let's move to New England and innovative tune writing and move on to Rodney Miller.
Thanks, Dave. I'm also a first-timer on Fiddle Hell. What a pleasure. So much talent already in this session. It's amazing. I just want to play all this music, take all the classes. So please sign up. It's going to be fun. I'm going to focus on a couple of different areas, traditional New England repertoire and some modern fiddle tune compositions. I've been working over the decades on writing and finally published my own tune book after all these years with 270 tunes in it. So I'll give samples of both areas. My father's favorite writer when I was growing up was Henry David Thoreau. And Thoreau was concerned back in the 1800s about his neighbors farming. They were using a lot of split rail fencing. And he saw them sort of like go into the stone wall mode and replace the rail fences. He was concerned that they were losing the gaps between the rails and being sort of hemmed in by their stones and not seen beyond that. So a lot of my music, I think, addresses, I'm going to talk about it, how to fill spaces between the notes and to use the bow to lift off and create air, and a lot of ornamentations and finger stuff. And let me just play a set of New England tunes first. And within, I'm just going to play like one time through because I made a backup track to play along with. And I'll just do my thing on these tunes. So the first A might be a little different from the second A or whatever. Here we go. Thank you. So, of course, those tunes were Far From Home from an Irish tradition, and Wood Choppers by Canadian Ned Landry, ending with my favorite traditional tune, Miller's Reel. I wonder why that's a favorite. I'm going to talk a little bit about my compositions now in my original tune book. And this is the tune book. It's just come out in the last couple months, and it's easily available on my website, rodneymiller.net. And it has a large section of reels and miscellaneous tunes. There's a strathspey in there. And then I go to a jig section and then to a waltz section. So I'm going to play, coming up, a a tune that seems to be enjoying some popularity. It's called William Blake is Dead. I call it William Blake's Dead. And the inspiration from this came from watching a Jim Jarmusch movie called Dead Man with the young Johnny Depp years ago. And it's quite a story. It takes place in the Old West. And Jarmusch had Neil Young do the backup track on his electric guitar. And it was, to my ear and Roger Ebert, the movie critic's ear, pretty atrocious stuff because he kept dropping his electric guitar on the ground. And it was wanging away most of the time. And I woke up the next morning after watching the movie and said, I could write a better movie theme song for that. And so Johnny Depp was playing the character William Blake, and it was over and over, not that William Blake, the poet, right? So I'm going to play this as an example of one of my compositions. Thank you. So that's pretty much it. We're going to go much more in depth on different subject areas related to what I just played. So, and a New England jam to boot. So bring your New England stuff. I'd like to also include some of Dudley Loftman's tunes in the jam, maybe one or two, and Bob McQuillan, sort of my mentors for writing a lot of tunes. So it'll be fun. Great. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Rodney. That's great. And I have a copy of that book, and I'm enjoying making my way through it. And I'm pretty sure we can find that on your website. If you just take a look at Rodney's bio, you'll have a link to his website and get a jump start on Fiddle Hell by ordering the book. We also, of course, have Frank Farrell and Jay Unger and Molly Mason and a bunch of other New England folks, long list there. Just a reminder, if you joined us a little bit late, we'll have another session on Monday, March 29th, and two more on April 4th and April 11th. Come to them live or check them out on our YouTube channel or play them in Hoover. We'll be posting them there as well. And we did Cape Breton, but I think we need some Scottish representation. And so I'd like to introduce Barbara McOwen and Robert McOwen. I think they're related. They've been together a long time. And play us a tune. Tell us what you'll be doing at Fiddle Hell.
Okay. We're leading the slow jam. Hi, everybody. We're leading the slow jam, Scottish and Cape Breton jam. and it's on Friday of Fiddle Hell weekend, which is April 16th, I think. Yeah, and it's at 11:30 in the morning, so you have to get up. After whatever happens Thursday night, that might be a challenge. So I'm gonna be leading the slow jam, and so we're gonna start with a Cape Breton jig by Jerry Holland, very well known. It's called Stan Chapman, key of A. Let's see if I can still play. So that was once through. We'll do most things twice or three times. We might do tunes in small sets, 2 or 3 tunes, or just by themselves. And we'll be doing slow to moderate tempo. You can ask for a faster or slower or something, but keep them a little bit relaxed tempo. In Scottish, we include reels, jigs, strathspeys, which are the dance kind of tunes, and also marches and slow airs. But we'll be playing the slow airs at regular slow air tempo. I think we'll try it. We'll fit it in. So here's a slow air. It's an old tune by Neil Gow called Neil Gow's Lamentation for James Moray, Esquire of Abercarney. Wow. Key of G. Thanks. So that was a slow air played at pretty much normal tempo. We'd love to take requests, and we'll be working a lot from very familiar tunes. A lot of them are in this book, which is put out by the Boston Scottish Fiddle Club. If you're a member, then you can buy it at cost. And to find out more about the Boston Scottish Fiddle Club, it's bsfc.org. So you can join, get the book, at least get a list of the tunes, see what you're interested in. Should we move on? We'll play a strathspey. got to play a strathspey if we're doing Scottish. This is an old tune, goes back. It's called The Braes of Mar, key of D. Thanks. Strathspeys are great. Lots of big bows and everything. So we're playing old tunes, new tunes, everything in between. We'll finish off with a relatively new tune, the newest of this bunch. It's only about 20 years old. It's by John McCusker, and it's called Frank's Reel. It's a tune in the key of A. So let's see, here we go. And thanks to Dave and the Reiner family. What I tell people about Fiddle Hell is just so well run that all of your thoughts and your energy can go into the music and into the people. And I think that the online version has great advantages. We can bring in different staff people, and anybody can come from around the world and tune in. And then with the being able to see everything for 3 months, you can finally be in 2 places at once. We've been trying to work that out for years. So perhaps there'll be a place for an online session in the future, even if we can really get back and see everybody in person. Thanks again. See you at Fiddle Hell.
Thank you, Barbara and Robert. That's great. A nice quick tour through Scottish styles. And you're right. I mean, we're seeing 6 or 7 people tonight, but that happens in 1 hour 3 times over at Fiddle Hell when we're face to face. The true hellish part is, where do you go? But now you can go to 270 sessions and have 3 months to do it. So it's kind of nice. I think we'll keep these going even when we're back to face. We may alternate or something. We'll have to figure all that out. So you've heard Swedish, Irish, old-time Cape Breton, Scottish, New England, and how about a little bit on the bluesy side? There's an electric and a swing and bluesy and looping and pedal component, and that's represented ably by Rob Flax. And I will turn it over to you, Rob.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be back. I've been an ardent Fiddle Hell enthusiast and what's the word for somebody who proselytizes? Missionary. I've been a Fiddle Hell missionary. There's an ironic one. uh, for some years now, and it's always such a joy. I'm so inspired by just this group alone, and all my friends that I get to see once a year in November. Now I get to see them in April too. So this is a real embarrassment of riches. I am teaching a few things this Fiddle Hell, and I wanted to start off by showing a little bit of some fun that you can do with some looping. I'm teaching a looping essentials class, and I'm also going to be performing in a looping concert. So I thought I would do a little looping thing, but I got so inspired by Rodney's original music that I thought I have to try and figure out a way to loop one of my original tunes. So I'm going to play a tune that I wrote this past year. It's called the Fractal Hornpipe. It's a hornpipe. It's also a fractal. For the math geeks in the crowd, I've made a whole YouTube video explaining that. You should check it out if you're interested. But I'm going to use my looper pedal to give myself some accompaniment, which is one of the things that a looper pedal could do. So let's try that. The Fractal Hornpipe, which is sort of a departure from my usual style of jazz and blues. So it's a world of departures, and you're invited to depart from your norm and come experiment with pedals. And I'm also, in case that's like a little alarming and you go, looper pedal, I don't even know if I have the stuff I need for that. I'll be teaching a class on looping pedal essentials, sort of pedal 101. So I have a jillion different pedals, all different sizes of pedals, different effects units, different things that make different sounds. I've got little things that make the buttons easier to press, and talk about how to put them on a board so they'll stay put in a nice arrangement with wires all put together, and all the things that you didn't know you were interested in. May be fun to explore. So check that out. That'll be my Pedals 101. I also am going to be teaching some, well, actually I'll be hosting a blues jam and performing on a blues concert. So I thought I would wrap with a little looped blues, just a quick little blues jam here. And going to use my looper, and I'm going to use some effects pedals to transform myself into Jimi Hendrix. There we go. Got a little rhythm section. There we go. I'm going to turn off my room mics so you can only hear the effects pedals. All right. So that's some fun with pedals, and I hope you come check out my classes and see if effects can be right for your fiddle and you, or your voice and you, or your kazoo and you. Thanks again, Dave, for having me. See you in hell, everybody.
All right. Way to go, Rob. Spellbinding as always. One of the good things about Fiddle Hell is you show up maybe to play Old Time or Cape Breton or French Canadian, you hang with your friends for a little while, and then you start saying, whoa, look at these other styles. I could do that. I could try New England. I could learn some history. I could try a pedal. And so there's some cross-pollination that goes on that's great. Just a couple last-minute things. One is if you're going to get a t-shirt or a hoodie in time for Fiddle Hell, you need to order it by tomorrow night. The link is on Facebook. The link is also on my website, fiddlehell.org. We've got 3 more of these sessions to meet instructors. Monday the 29th, also April 4th and 11th. You'll find those on our YouTube channel as well. Tell your friends to come to Fiddle Hell. I know everybody always signs up at the last moment, and we always worry about it, but it's going to be really super this time. It's going to be a good April. And finally, let me close by thanking Andrea, McKinley, Tony, Wendy, Rodney, Barbara and Robert, and Rob for sharing a little time with us, playing their styles, previewing their sessions, their workshops, their jams, and their concerts at Fiddle Hell. We're going to, even with 4 of these sessions, we'll probably get through only about a quarter of the faculty that we've got, and it's an amazing group. So search for them, check out their sessions when you get to Fiddle Hell, tell your friends, and thanks for joining us. Feel free to unmute yourselves, everybody. Wave goodbye. Say
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Cindy.
Thanks so much for the hard, unglamorous work of making this all possible and having all the headaches while we get to shine.
Amen. Amen.
Yay, thank you, Dave.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tony.
Dave. Appreciate you guys.
I love it. And a shout out to my son, Eric Reiner, and Autumn Rose Lester, and Andy and Joy out there in Colorado, and my wife, Cindy. It's kind of a family effort. So thanks again. See you all Monday in a week. Order those shirts if you want them, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.